more than a few people tell me that sometimes, how can I say this, really flaming disasters happen at home on Thanksgiving. You know, like somehow, let's say there was a problem with the meal. Or let's say, I know I know often in movies you'll see stories about something happening to the turkey or something like that. That hardly ever happens in real life, right? Although I do remember one story from the days of my youth. I was about 10 years old, and I remember there was this couple that was living upstairs from us, and my mother was kind of assisting them with instructions on turkey because they had never made a turkey before. And about 2 in the afternoon, they were kind of walking down the stairs, leaving to go to dinner someplace. And later that day, my mother spoke to and said, "What happened?" He says, "Well, you know, Helen, thank you for telling us. Everything was going fine. But I forgot to take that bag out of the turkey, you know." You know, I guess under the heading, we'll say that art imitates life. Things like that happen, okay? Or the idea too that, let's say, you'll see in a movie or something, or read in a novel, that there's sometimes someone says something intemperate at the dinner table, and it kind of puts everybody on edge. And people laugh at the movie and that, but you know, sometimes that really does happen, doesn't it? Someone will say just the wrong thing at the wrong time, and all of a sudden, Thanksgiving dinners are very quiet. Those things sometimes happen, unfortunately. But having said that, isn't it great to have second chances? We can joke about some of those things, or say, I know that couple probably realized, hey, you take the bag out of the turkey, then you put the stuffing in. You know, people learn. I know I'm a big believer in second chances. I have benefited from second chances along the way in my life. I think many of us have too. Well, it's just something to consider on a day like Thanksgiving is that even our gospel today has a certain second chance feeling to it. And by that I mean, it's not just the story of the lepers. It's just the remembrance that we heard this gospel about a month ago, didn't we? This was the Sunday gospel, we called it 28th Sunday of the year, just about like 4 or 5 weeks ago. And you might be thinking, wow, you know, the first time I remember a story, I remember all the details in this way. What's like your favorite book or your favorite movie? You see it a second time or a third time, you see little things you didn't see the first time, right? Yeah. This gospel we're hearing again for the second time in a fairly short period. Something to take away that I think really says something about our day today is that we've got this sense, you might wonder, my gosh, the 10 lepers were healed. Why did the other 9 go away? Why did they come back? I mean, even Luke puts this in Jesus' mouth. Where are the other 9? A quick word on this. To suffer from leprosy, you know, or what they call today Hansen's disease, to suffer from leprosy in that day and age, I mean, with apologies to the Brother Grimm, you were like the troll living under the bridge. You were outside of town, you were kept away from your family, good people didn't associate you, you no longer had a job, you no longer had a home, you no longer had a spouse and children, you didn't have a life anymore. Because you were considered just unclean beyond description, you were gone. Jesus, we're all familiar with Jesus and the story of Lazarus, when Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. Jesus, when he healed these 10, it's like he gave their lives back to them. I don't think that's much of an exaggeration. They now could be healed. They now could go back to their families. They now could go back and resume their lives. That's tremendous good news. Could I understand? Yeah, these other 9 were so filled with joy, perhaps it hadn't occurred to them yet that they should be thankful to someone. But one did. One came back. And I guess what I wanted to leave with the idea on Thanksgiving Day is, for everything that happens in our lives, the stuff we laugh about, the stuff we really feel burdened by, and everything in between, can we give thought to the idea that Jesus is so much in our hearts, that we would be like that one who would turn back and thank Jesus for what was done? Can we be like that one person who goes and remembers and is thankful? And think about what that means in our relationship with God, our thankfulness to God for all that God has given us, God who is source of all good gift and all good blessing. Or we are thankful to members of our families for all they have done for us, the care, the love, the patience too. I shouldn't forget the patience. All those good things families do for each other, the things we do for our neighbors, the things we do for our communities. May we be thankful I remember this on a day like today, when everything else seems to be happening, and the whole world's moving quickly, and we be a people of thanksgiving. And how shall I say it? Shall I push it a little? Not just today, but every day. Can we give thought to being like that leper who remembers and goes back and thanks God, thanks family, thanks neighbors, thanks the world.